We've been doing this for a few weeks. There are multiple calls every night that are like Chrissy that will say, I've read, I've done, all of these sorts of things. Of course, they are instantly sidelined, ignored, all the rest of it, or to even air somebody saying that on the air apparently is the worst thing in the world. When you're working in and around the Wentworth campaign, climate change such a massive issue, when you were you weren't working but aware of what was going on with Zali and all the rest of it. Yeah. I get it for those that are all in, they're all in, right? Why do you think so many people come forward saying things like what Chrissy just said?
Look,
because she's not a nasty lady.
I don't think people like being told what to think.
Right.
And that there's a certain degree of preaching from, you know, the climate science brigade that I think people find very confronting. And you can find whatever information on, you know, the internet and in reference material that you choose to find. But the challenge as someone who works in politics and the challenge of trying to communicate with people is allowing them to come to their own conclusion rather than telling them what's right and what's wrong. And that's the challenge for me as someone who believes in climate science, is to find a way to connect with people that doesn't preach.
Because it's this thing where everyone who's seen that call play out in real time understands the tone, tenor, warmth of the conversation, right? Why do you think people like Chrissy, who again, I met her tonight like everyone else, does not seem like a nasty lady, right, at all. In fact, a nice, you know, fun lady. But there's lots of people who are very well-meaning, very well-passionate, who say, I've read, I've seen, I've done. Why do you think that is?
I think people are interested and people genuinely do believe, you know, they believe in science, and so they do believe, but also people are wanting to come to their own conclusions. They don't like being identified as you're a believer, you're a denier, you're with us or you're against us. Similarly, you know, echoing sort of what Darrin has said about people don't like being told. I have had people come and speak to me saying, Christy, you know about politics. I went to a dinner party last night and I said to somebody, well, I haven't read enough about it, so I can't make an informed opinion. And for them saying, because I haven't read enough about it to make up my own mind, they're labelled as, you know, someone who's a denier, on the fringe, just for purely stating a view that, you know, I don't really know. I haven't had time to read about science. Yeah. People do want to come to their own conclusions.
Also, look, obviously, I've never heard what she's talking about, right? I've never heard what she's talking about. I don't know what the source material is, all the rest of it here, and you know, this is the joy of doing it live, seeing what happens and seeing how people present themselves. But, you know, do you think that, as somebody who understands how to win from the centre-left, right, yep. Is there a moment where the catastrophising conversation has motivated all of those that it's going to motivate?
Oh, for sure.
And a change in language to either reach out, like how...
I think that if you look at, you know, moderate liberals over the last decade or so, it was not that long ago that someone like Joe Hockey argued, I think we should give the planet the benefit of the doubt. Yep. Now, the debate's been so fractious for so long that people can't have that centrist view now, and it's become polarised. And I think the key to success, and you say sort of centre-left, but centre-right,
my issue is
moderate liberal. I think moderate liberal seats will listen to a reasoned argument on climate change that is more climate strike than Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah,
that is, let's have an orderly transition, not let's shut down the coal industry. Exactly. I think people are amenable to that, but the nuance of the debate has been lost to the polar opposites.
It's binary. It's become such a binary topic where people cannot discuss.
Well,
and if someone can come up with that sort of centrist view and platform, then they may have some success in those sort of moderate seats.
But also, you have to also be really open and honest to talk about, well, transition costs. All right, transition will cost.
You can't
so all of those
do
things.
a snow job.
So that's my thing. Is I think once we step out of the binary, the ability to come back into this conversation is interesting. That said, I also think there are absolute realities, right? As well-meaning, as global citizen-y as people want to be, we are what we are, which is the island that produces 1.3. All right, that is what we are.
We're a giant quarry in many ways.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So if you've got to understand.
Live a good life because of that.
If we pull this lever,
quarriers.
then this thing happens in the future. But anyway.